Since 2016, members of the Players Coalition have fought to make an impact on social justice and racial inequality. Though Players Coalition was historically led by current and former NFL players, this year, in a year like any other, accented by COVID-19, racial unrest, and an election, the coalition expanded our work to include more than 1,400 professional athletes, coaches, and owners across non-professional sports leagues.
This year's activations included work around closing the digital divide, voter education and turnout, juvenile justice, and police and prosecutor accountability, to name a few. In addition to that, our national call to action to end qualified immunity produced a letter that garnered support from over 1,000 athletes and front office staffers.
Our education resource equity investments totaled $350,000 and supported 11 different schools and school districts. The NFL, through Players Coalition, also donated more than $3 million to 7 markets significantly impacted by COVID-19.
In the NBA, we work to educate voters on local issues. We also brought awareness and fought voter suppressions and ensured that folks knew their rights as voters.
As a WNBA player with the Coalition, I focused on get out the vote efforts, as well as partnering up with the New Orleans Saints to help educate the general public on issues plaguing Black women in spaces of racism and sexism, sports and media, social justice, and racial equity.
The MLS has had many engagement opportunities with the Players Coalition. We have worked on voting rights and restoration through PSAs and social media campaigns such as the Power the Polls campaign, which worked to recruit citizens as poll workers. We also worked on the ACLU Indiana's Yes You Can Vote campaign, which raised awareness that those who were formerly incarcerated had the right to vote in Indiana.
We also worked on improving police and community relations through social media campaigns such as supporting the California Crisis Act, which urged the government to provide non-law enforcement-based responses to people in crisis. And we successfully advocated for the Racial Justice Act, which allowed people who have had their convictions infected by racial bias to challenge their convictions and receive relief.
Some of the other key pillars that we worked on included improving reparations through supporting the HR 40 bill, improving education opportunities through campaigns and grant making, and criminal justice reform through supporting Ohio SB 256.
We at the United Soccer League have also participated in Cafe Momentum dinners to positively impact criminal justice reform.
We came together with the Players Coalition and other leagues to discuss the next steps post-election.
In the National Women's Soccer League, we worked with the Players Coalition to improve criminal justice reform by participating in dinners with Cafe Momentum with impacted youth.
The Premier Lacrosse League has also worked with Players Coalition to improve criminal justice reform by participating in Cafe Momentum dinners and activating a campaign in support of Prop 17 to restore the right to vote for 50,000 Californians who have completed their prison term. We also supported groups like Harlem Lacrosse, who are working daily to improve racial equity in the sport.
Beyond working to address racial equity in lacrosse, we're also working to address systemic racism across all leagues.
Now more than ever, students are engaged, interested, and ready to do their part to achieve social and racial equality. Players Coalition gives student athletes a platform to equip them with the tools, resources needed to develop a more equitable world.
Our students are more than just athletes. Their work off the field is just as meaningful as their work on the field.
As student athletes, we also have a platform, and it was important for us, especially this year, to utilize that platform as we educated ourselves and those around us.
Change has to start somewhere, and through Players Coalition, we have the tools and the resources to impact systemic change within social justice and racial equity issues.